From a young age, we are bombarded with the idea that the smarter we are, the further we'll go in life. Knowledge is power, we've heard it countless times. And yes, it's true, knowledge can be powerful in many ways. But here's the catch, it's not the only truth. There's a critical difference between knowing something and actually doing something with that knowledge. And when it comes to the pursuit of wealth, that difference is absolutely crucial. Think about it for a moment. We've all heard the stories of people who made a fortune, built an empire, or achieved great success. The first thing that often comes to mind is that they were exceptionally smart. But let's dive deeper. Were they successful simply because they were the smartest person in the room? What if intelligence wasn't the main factor that propelled them forward? What if something else, something much more elusive, was the real key? You see, intelligence alone doesn't guarantee success. The people we consider successful didn't get there by simply being smart. Take a closer look and you'll find something far more valuable than intellect alone. Action. Consider this. Intelligence is undoubtedly valuable, but it's not enough. It's not just about how much you know. It's about what you do with what you know. And here's the secret. The wealthiest, most successful individuals in the world didn't sit on their knowledge and wait for the right moment. They acted on what they knew, and that made all the difference. But why is it that many intelligent people still fall short? What's the missing piece? It's simple. Knowledge without execution is just potential. It's like a beautiful idea that stays locked in your mind, never seeing the light of day. Knowledge without action is nothing but wasted opportunity. What many intelligent people struggle with is over-analysis. They spend so much time refining their plans, thinking through every possible scenario, that they never take the leap. The more you know, the more you might second-guess yourself. The more you try to predict every possible outcome, the more you risk being paralyzed by the uncertainty. But here's the truth. Perfection never comes. Conditions are never going to be just right. And if you wait for everything to be perfect, you might wait forever. The successful people of the world don't just gather information and sit back waiting for it all to make sense. They act, even when they don't have all the answers. They take that first step, not knowing exactly how things will unfold, but they take it anyway. And when they fail, and they do fail, they learn, they adapt, they try again. And that's what sets them apart from everyone else. Here's the key. Action creates certainty. When you step into the unknown, when you move forward despite the uncertainty, you start to create your own path. The successful don't wait for things to be perfectly lined up. They create the conditions for success as they move forward. The smartest people aren't necessarily the ones with the most knowledge. They're the ones who take action on what they know, even when they don't have everything figured out. It's easy to think that intelligence is the magic ingredient for success. We tend to put people who are smart on pedestals, assuming that their intelligence alone must be the reason for their achievements. But here's the reality. It's the willingness to act, to make decisions, to experiment, and to learn from failure that separates the successful from the rest. It's not the number of facts you can rattle off. It's how you apply what you know in the real world. The most successful aren't the ones who know everything. They're the ones who do the most with what they know. And that, my friend, is the difference between intellect and true wealth. Here's the truth that many successful people won't share with you. Their journey to success wasn't a smooth one. It didn't happen on their first try. They stumbled, made mistakes, and experienced setbacks along the way. And here's the most important part. They didn't let those failures stop them. They kept going. But as an intellectual, you may face a significant roadblock that can prevent you from achieving the success you desire, the fear of failure. This fear doesn't stem from a lack of knowledge or an inability to grasp complex concepts. It comes from something deeper, the fear of making a wrong move. As someone who values intelligence, you're constantly thinking, analyzing, and calculating. You know all the risks, all the potential pitfalls, and the consequences of every possible decision. This ability to foresee problems can be a strength until it paralyzes you. For intelligent people, this is where the problem begins. The more you know, the more you can see what could go wrong. You can play out every possible scenario in your mind, anticipating failure long before it even happens. At first, this seems like an advantage. After all, you're just trying to make the best decision, right? But what you might not realize is that this focus on avoiding failure can prevent you from taking any action at all. In trying to avoid mistakes, you get stuck in a cycle of overthinking and indecision, and as a result, you end up paralyzed by the very knowledge that is meant to help you. It's this perfectionism that often holds intelligent people back. The smarter you are, the more you might believe that you need to have everything figured out, that you need to control every variable before you take the first step. In a world where the game of wealth is constantly changing and evolving, this need for perfection becomes a major obstacle. The truth is, success doesn't follow a straight line. The road to success is often messy, unpredictable, and filled with obstacles, and these obstacles often come in the form of failure. And yet, here's the paradox. The more intelligent you are, the more likely you are to avoid failure at all costs. You view failure as a flaw, as a sign that you didn't plan well enough or make the right decision. You think failure reflects poorly on you, as though your intellect should have shielded you from it. But this mindset is flawed. Success doesn't come from avoiding failure. It comes from embracing it, learning from it, and moving forward despite it. In fact, failure is often the best teacher you'll ever have. This brings us to an uncomfortable truth. You must learn to fail, and to fail quickly. Failing doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you found one way that doesn't work. It's an opportunity to adjust your approach, to refine your strategy, and to grow. But this is where your intellect can betray you. You're used to being in control, to having the answers, and to seeing the path clearly. And when that path isn't clear, when you don't know exactly what's going to happen, you hesitate. You stop yourself from taking the necessary steps because you're afraid of making a mistake. But what if you could shift your mindset? What if, instead of fearing failure, you embraced it? What if you welcome failure as an essential part of your journey, a necessary step towards success? Imagine how liberating that would be, no longer paralyzed by the fear of being wrong, but propelled forward by the understanding that failure is simply another part of the learning process. The greatest entrepreneurs and wealth creators didn't shy away from failure. They understood its value. They failed, and they failed often, but they didn't let those failures define them or hold them back. They kept going. They didn't let the fear of failure stop them from taking action. What they feared wasn't failing. It was staying stuck, standing still, letting fear dictate their every move. They feared doing nothing more than doing something that didn't work. So let's ask the real question. It's not about why you're not rich. It's about why you're afraid to act. Why are you letting the fear of failure control your decisions? What's keeping you from moving forward, from taking that first step into the unknown? Remember, success doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from the willingness to act, to take risks, and yes, to fail along the way. But it also comes from your ability to learn from those failures, to adjust your course, and to keep going. The only true failure is not acting at all. You can have the sharpest mind in the room, capable of solving complex problems and understanding intricate systems, but if you don't understand human behavior, you'll find yourself struggling to achieve the kind of success you desire. It's tempting to believe that success hinges purely on intelligence, on systems, strategies, and theories. But the truth is, in the real world, success is driven by one thing above all else: human interaction. Without the ability to connect with people, to truly understand their wants, needs, and desires, even the most brilliant ideas can fall flat. When we think about success, we often focus on the tangible aspects, the products, the innovations, the theories. But the most successful individuals and companies have mastered the art of understanding and engaging with people. They know that wealth doesn't simply come from having a great idea. It comes from the ability to connect that idea with the right people, the ones who need it, want it, and are willing to pay for it. Success is built on relationships, on trust, and on understanding the human element that lies at the heart of every transaction. It's easy to get lost in the mechanics of business or the details of a product. We often think that if we build something extraordinary, the world will recognize its value and reward us for our brilliance. But the reality is that the most successful people aren't just good at creating things, they're equally good at selling those things, at convincing others of their worth. They know that innovation alone is not enough. You must also know how to present your ideas to the world, how to show people that what you offer is not just useful, but essential. It's not just about the product, it's about the connection you make with those who will benefit from it. Take a moment to think about any great company that's risen to become a global empire. Whether it's Apple, Amazon, Facebook, or any other giant, the key to their success was never just the brilliance of their products. Yes, they built innovative, groundbreaking products, but what truly set them apart was their deep understanding of people. They understood what people want, what excites them, what drives their decisions. More importantly, they understood that people are not just rational beings, they are emotional, complex, and driven by desires that often go beyond logic. These companies didn't just create products, they crafted experiences that resonated with people on a deeper level. They didn't just design software or hardware, they designed solutions to problems, answers to needs that people didn't always know they had. And the marketing strategies, they weren't just selling products, they were selling a lifestyle, a feeling, an identity. This ability to tap into human emotions, to connect with people on a personal level, is what turned these companies into industry leaders and cultural icons. Now, here's where your intellect can truly make a difference. As someone who possesses analytical abilities, you have the unique advantage of being able to decode the wants, needs, and behaviors of people around you. You can break down the motivations behind their actions, understand why they make the choices they do, and predict what they might want next. But this intellectual insight on its own isn't enough. You also need emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and respond to the emotions of others. This combination of analytical skill and emotional awareness is the secret sauce for creating connections that last, that inspire loyalty, and that ultimately lead to success. When you combine these two elements, intellect and emotional understanding, you are no longer just offering a product or service. You are offering a solution that speaks directly to the heart of what people need. You are able to engage with them in a way that makes them feel understood, valued, and excited about what you're offering. This is what drives people to take action, to make decisions, and to invest in what you bring to the table. Wealth isn't just about having the right ideas, it's about understanding the people who will benefit from those ideas. It's about tapping into the emotional and psychological currents that drive human behavior. And this is where your intellectual capacity can truly shine. You have the tools to understand and navigate the complexities of human desire and need. And when you learn to combine that understanding with your ability to communicate, to connect, and to engage on a deeper level, you unlock the potential for true success. The wealthiest people in the world aren't out there doing everything on their own. They understand the fundamental truth. Success is rarely, if ever, a solo endeavor. While intelligence, ambition, and drive are undoubtedly important, it is the relationships they cultivate and the networks they build that often serve as the true foundation of their wealth. These individuals surround themselves with people who complement their strengths, who can execute on their ideas, and who can contribute their own unique expertise to help grow their vision. Success is not a solo pursuit, it is in fact a team sport. And when you learn to build the right relationships, you open up access to a network of resources, advice, opportunities, and support that you could never possibly access on your own. Consider for a moment the power of relationships. When you have people who believe in your vision, who share your values and goals, you unlock doors that might otherwise remain closed. Each person you connect with brings something new to the table, new knowledge, new perspectives, new ideas, or new opportunities. These relationships are not just about what you can get from others, they are about mutual benefit. You offer your own unique contributions, and in return, you receive the support, advice, and collaboration that will help you move forward. Building a network of valuable relationships is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal in your pursuit of wealth. Now, take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you actively worked on building meaningful relationships with others? In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to get lost in your intellectual pursuits, to dive deeper and deeper into mastering one subject after another. And while intellectual growth is important, it's equally important to remember that wealth is not built through knowledge alone. It's built through people. It's built through connections, trust, and collaboration. And yet, in today's world, many individuals are so focused on their own achievements that they neglect the importance of the relationships they need to succeed. Think about the time you've spent focusing on personal development, reading books, gaining knowledge, refining your skills. All of this is valuable, but it can only take you so far. The real secret to lasting success and wealth lies in building the right relationships, forming alliances with people who can help you grow, challenge you, and push you toward your goals. Relationships have the power to open doors to opportunities, to create partnerships that allow you to scale your vision and to provide you with resources that you simply wouldn't have access to on your own. Without meaningful relationships, you might be left trying to do everything alone with limited resources and opportunities. Wealth is not a solitary pursuit, it's a collective endeavor. As humans, we thrive in communities, in networks, and in collaboration. No matter how smart or skilled you are, you can only go so far by yourself. At some point, you'll need others, whether it's for advice, guidance, support, or simply an extra pair of hands to help execute on your ideas. The people you surround yourself with will ultimately determine how far you can go and how much you can achieve. If you focus on building relationships with others who share your values, goals, and vision, you'll be able to tap into a wealth of resources that will propel you forward in ways you couldn't have imagined on your own. Building meaningful relationships doesn't mean simply networking for the sake of it. It's about fostering real, authentic connections with people who genuinely care about you and your success. It's about creating partnerships that are rooted in trust, shared goals, and mutual respect. These relationships are not transactional, they are collaborative. They are the kind of relationships that provide value to everyone involved, helping each individual grow and succeed. It's about who knows you, and how you interact with the people around you. By investing time and energy into building strong, meaningful relationships, you not only increase your chances of success, but you also create a support system that will be there for you through both the highs and the lows. The people you connect with will be the ones who help you refine your ideas, open doors to new opportunities, and provide the guidance and encouragement you need to push forward. Perfection is a myth. It's an illusion that keeps many people trapped in a cycle of inaction, always waiting for the ideal conditions to fall into place. You can wait for the perfect plan, the perfect idea, the perfect timing, but I'm here to tell you, it will never come. The perfect moment doesn't exist. This is something that the most successful people understand intuitively. They know that waiting for perfection is not the path to success. Instead, action must always come before perfection. Success is built on doing, on taking that first step, even when you're not sure that you have everything in place. These successful individuals don't sit around hoping for the stars to align. They don't wait for all the lights to turn green. They act on their ideas, even when they know there's a degree of uncertainty. They take risks, make mistakes, and learn from every misstep. But here's the key point: they never sit still. They are always moving, always pushing forward, no matter how imperfect their execution might be at the outset. Perfection is not the goal. The goal is to keep moving, to keep adapting, and to continue learning as you go. The truth is, there is no perfect moment. The world is far too dynamic, far too unpredictable to wait for everything to line up just right. The economy is always shifting, the market is constantly changing, and the people around you have their own ideas, opinions, and motivations that don't always align with your vision. And yet, many people spend years, sometimes even their entire lives, waiting for the world to conform to their plans. But the harsh reality is that it never will. Things will never be exactly as you envision, and the environment around you will never provide a perfect backdrop for your dreams. But that's the beauty of it. The unpredictability of life is not something to be feared, it's something to embrace. It's in this chaos, in this uncertainty, that the most exciting opportunities are often hidden. It's only by stepping into the unknown, by taking that leap despite the unknowns, that you begin to see what the world has to offer. The moment you start acting, the moment you start creating, is the moment when the universe begins to align with you. It's as though the world, which at first seemed indifferent, suddenly opens up in response to your actions. You have to create your own timing. You can't wait for the world to offer you the perfect conditions. Waiting for everything to be perfectly aligned is a trap that keeps you stuck. Action creates momentum. By stepping forward, even when you don't have all the answers, you start to build your own timing. Opportunities begin to emerge as you make decisions, adapt, and learn. Every step you take in the direction of your dreams creates a new path, a new set of circumstances that didn't exist before. The world will not give you the perfect moment, but when you take action, the moment becomes perfect in its own right. Waiting for the perfect moment is a form of procrastination. It's a way to delay taking responsibility for your actions and decisions. When you wait for everything to be perfect, you're giving yourself an excuse to avoid action. But there is no perfect. There is only progress. Every mistake you make along the way is a part of your growth, and every misstep teaches you something new. Each moment you wait for perfect conditions to materialize is another moment you lose, another opportunity missed.